This first video here is going to discuss stretching of one of the hip flexors, part of the hip flexor complex known as the psoas major primarily. So the psoas major starts and ends whichever direction you want to pick on the femur, the inside of the femur, the inner thigh, and it connects to the lower vertebrae. So the lumbar vertebrae all the way up to the thoracic, the last vertebrae of the thoracic spine, as is shown here. Now, this muscle is responsible for hip flexion, or the act of bringing the knee up towards the torso, as shown here. So we're starting off in a lunge position with one leg forward. The arms are going to go up overhead. The core is nice and tight, and you're squeezing the glute of the back leg and leaning towards the knee that is forward. So what this allows us to do is get a nice deep stretch of that muscle by pulling the femur back and extending laterally away from the leg that's back as well. We're going to want to perform this on both sides. So here we have a lateral view. Again, the leg is back, a bit hyperextended, the hips are forward, and you're leaning towards the knee that is forward, towards the leg that is forward, lunging forward. Again, it's key to keep the abs very tight, keep the hips square to the front, squeeze that glute, and push the hips forward. This could also be performed using a resistance band that's anchored to a stable object, stationary object. And what this allows you to do, if you don't have the ability to push that hip forward under your own power, you could get a little extra force because of the resistance band, which is going to be up around the top of the thigh. And you can also turn the spine just a little bit, so you have a little bit of rotation in the thoracic spine, again further allowing you to stretch that muscle by taking it into a more lengthened state. So it can also be performed on both sides. Typically, if you feel more tightness on one side than the other, obviously, then you could offset it that way. Now, this muscle is quite often the culprit when people are experiencing lower back tightness or pain because of the fact that the muscle stays in a very shortened state because of how much we sit throughout the course of the day. So there's a very, very good stretch to target the hip flexors as well as getting you in a more neutral position. So here we have another form of the stretch, another example of the stretch utilizing a piece of equipment called the Cortex. So this not only allows you to get into that extended position, but it allows you to externally and internally rotate the femur while staying in that extended position. So the hip is forward again, and you have the ability to manipulate the platform which my knee is on, inward and outward, again bringing closer and further extending the hip flexor muscle by taking the femur and rotating it externally. While the hips are extended, the glute medius is primarily responsible. Glute medius and minimus are primarily responsible for external rotation of the hip. So we're allowing them to do that here in this scenario by turning the femur outward, being able to do so on the platform which is pivoting to the left and right, greater facilitating the stretch of the hip flexor. So if y'all are interested in looking into one of these Cortexes, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll facilitate that. Thanks.